So I think this one is better. Hello, Cephal Design. Sorry, I had to restart my stream because I was having a little bit of this thing system issues. So my system was the video speed was lagging. So I think this one is better. Yeah, and my voice is there. So please, at any point in time, if my stream feed cuts out or if my voice goes, you can please let me know in my comment section. So hello, my name is King Sam and I create motion graphics and graphic design content related content right here on YouTube. And this is a special class for my community. So a lot of them were asking me how I made this poster recently, and I said, okay, let me show them this thing, how I do it live on stream, so that they can ask me any question in case they don't understand anything, or in case they have any problems. They can just ask me right here, right now, and I'll be sure to answer their messages. So as many of you that have any issues, please, you can put your message, your complaints, your clarifications in the comment section, and I'll be sure to get to that complaint. So this is what we're going to be creating today, and it's very, very easy. And first of all, people are asking me how I got inspiration from. The easiest way to get inspiration is by looking at other people's work. Personally, for me, I use Pinterest. So I go to Pinterest, I search other people's work before I start designing. I see 2-3 works that I like, and let's say I borrow the idea. Because as a designer, you have to steal like a designer. You have to use people's ideas like a designer. You have to be very, very creative, and you have to. There's nothing that is new, actually. If you're perfectly honest, there's nothing new. So you can just find a way and do things yourself and learn yourself, grow yourself, just by looking at other people's work and seeing how you can actually recreate or copy them. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say, copy them. So this is the interface of Photoshop. Let's create a new a new document. I always mess it up and saying new composition. Let's create a new document. And what is going to happen is that actually the easiest way to learn something is by doing it. So I'm just going to show you guys how to do it, but I'll drop a whole lot of commentary while I'm doing it. So for Instagram sizes, now Instagram has 2 major sizes for pictures. You have 3. You have your 1920 by 1080, that's your full size image. You have your 3x4. So let's just use their ratio. You have 16 by 9, that's the first one. You have 3x4, that's the second one, and final one you have 1 by 1. So the 16 by 9, you can use your 1920 by 1080. You can go up to 4K, what quality you want, no wahala. Now for the 3x4, now I use 1080 by 1350. You can write this down and copy it. It's going to work for Instagram very, very well. And you can also use 1080 by 1080. Now 1080 by 1080 will give you a squared off design like this. But get another one. 1080 by 1350 will give you a more rectangular looking design like this. So you have to pick which one is going to work for you, pick which one you're going to use best, and just focus on that one. That's the first thing you're supposed to know. But for this design, I'm just going to use 1350 by 1080. I'll not say which one is better than which one, but for me personally, I like using 1350. I feel like it like takes up more space on the screen, so it's harder for them to ignore. That's why I like using 1350 by 1080. So first thing I'm going to do is, let me just show you a little bit of the interface. I'm not going to go into a full in-depth breakdown of the interface of Photoshop and how everything does, but I'm just going to show you the ones you're going to need. So this is your move tool here, your move tool and your artboard tool, but we're just going to use the move tool for now. I'm not going to go into artboard today. This is your selection tool, so you can just select a rectangle like this. Now anytime in Photoshop here, once you press down on any of these angles, now you can see extra settings inside. This will not be new to you if you have used any Adobe tool before, but if you haven't used any Adobe tool before, this might be very new to you. Now when we go down here, we have our lasso, our polygonal lasso, and our magnetic lasso. So this is just used to freehand select a space that you want to select. So I draw it like this, I select this one, understand? And the polygonal is almost the same thing, but for polygons, you remember what polygons are from like secondary school or high school or whatever. So you can just use it to draw, it makes more concrete shapes for your selections like this, understand? Let's say I come out like this, so you can see the shapes are more straight line. It's no longer having that freehand feel. And for the magnetic lasso, now what that one does is let me just drag in any picture here. So for the magnetic this thing now, it automatically latches on to the edges of outfits or clothes or human beings, so it's easy for you to draw marks around them. So you can see the magnetic this thing followed her entirely. Understand? Now next thing I'm going to talk about, okay, this is our crop tool. This is to either increase or reduce the size of your work area here. And picture one, this is our type tool here. We use it to type. It's our pen tool here. We use it to draw shapes. And this is our rectangle tool or shapes tool. If you click it down and hold it, you will see other shapes you can draw right here. So I'm just going to jump into like the first part of like the easiest way to learn how to do something is by doing something in the first place. So for our background, I'm going to use these two pictures. So the easiest way to find pictures, you can use Pinterest, you can use freepik.com, you can use Pixabay as another site you can use for pictures, and just anywhere you can find pictures, you can use your pictures. So let's say I'm going to put this picture of a mountain in here, and I'm going to also put this picture of a cloud. So for older versions of Photoshop, you have to hold down Shift before you can drag them out the size like this, but for the newer versions you can just come and drag it out. It depends on whatever you want at that point, but yeah, this is your pick. So now let me just show you this one. Now see this eyeball tool here. Once you click it, you don't see it anymore. When you click it, you go back and start seeing it again. So that's how the whole visibility tool here works. For now I don't need it. Now I'm going to use this my two backgrounds here to make a simple background for my design. And what I'm going to do is that I want to use my cloud under that, and I'm going to use this mountain stuff here as the main part that people are going to see. So now we'll come down here. You see this place like this. Now this is our blending modes. If you are doing Photoshop for a while, you're supposed to know the blending mode. If you have done if you are doing After Effects, there's some cases that you actually need to enter their blending modes. So now if you move to the blending mode, and this is why I say Photoshop is amazing, you can see different ways you can take your design to. Now you can see this is a different okay, let's just start from the beginning. This is a different look to this. This is a different look to this, a different look to this, is a different look to this, is a different look to this. So I will advise you that you play around all those things. You have to play around with your blending mode. Sometimes you stumble on something that is really good. For example, me, when I was designing that in particular, I stumbled on this. It's not as if I had something in my mind to do with that per se, but I was just going through my blending modes and I found something that actually, looked very good, looked very clean, and it looked like it actually fits into each other pretty well. So if you can see, it's the same thing back here. Let me see what blending mode I use for that. So for here I use screen. As you can see, same thing, screen. Now you can also control how this thing looks by either taking this up or down. You can control the look of it also. So you have something that looks like this. Okay, let me see at what. Okay, this thing is more higher. So let's just leave it somewhere like here. That's cool. Next thing I'm going to do now is like, okay, our text. So if you notice, I wanted our text to just come from the back of this thing right here. Let me just copy this one so that it will be almost identical. Copy, come back here, and I can just paste it here. So I cannot do this too. Okay, so I just wanted it to be identical. So I wanted all the mountains and all the formations to just be at the same place. So next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to work on my text. So for my text now like this, I just come to my text tool down here. My text tool down here, and I'm just going to type in my text. So it's power. Now the font I use for this is one of my favorite fonts. Actually, I use it a lot, and I use it when I need it to occupy a lot of space and be more prominent, but I need it to be also be tiny in the middle. So it's called Biba Snue. You can download and install the fonts. You can check online wherever you get fonts from, and let's just increase the size. You can increase the size like that, or you can increase the size here. Anyone you want to do is perfectly fine. It's your work. Have fun with it. So let's put this here. I think I still need to increase this a little bit more. Okay, so let's say like this. Now you can see another issue that we are running into now. You can see, let's zoom in, Control plus. You can use Control plus to zoom in. So I'll be explaining a lot of things as I'm going through this entire thing. So you can see now, okay, let's go back here and see. You can see this is at the back here of the mountain, but when you come to the one that we are looking at here, you are not seeing it here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about masking. Now, a lot of you that have watched my After Effects tutorial, you already know masking and everything, just by hiding a particular thing so that you can see another thing. But in Photoshop, it's a little bit different. Now, when I want to create a mask in Photoshop, I have to come down here, and you see layer mask, this layer mask tool here. So when I click it, it creates a new layer mask for me up here. Now, what I can do is, first of all, let's turn down the opacity using this slider, so we can actually see what's at the back. So now you can see everything that's at the back, so we know where to remove. So I come down here to my cleaner here, so you can see the cleaner is very big, so I can reduce the cleaner. So it's something like this. Now we have to increase the hardness also. So if I clean it like this, you can see the edges are really hard. Everything I'm going to say now, if I'm talking about hardness, just add no DD in front for me, please. So if I turn the hardness down, now I make a keyframe, you can see it blends with the background. That's not what I want. I want it to be like at the back of it. So I need it to be very, very hard. No DD. So I can just come down here now. I have to be very, very precise about where how I'm doing this now, because I want to follow this mountain's curve exactly. So I think I still need to reduce this one a little bit more so I can be more surgical with this. So clean here, clean here, clean here, clean here, like this. Now, as you can see, there are some places that I went to go and over clean by mistake. If I want to bring them back, I just need to hit X on my keyboard. You will see this thing flip between white and black and white here, and I can just add those places back like that. So I'm not done. This place still has its own, so you can now clean it like this. For stuff like this, because it's very tiny, you don't have to be very perfect. But now you can see it's looking like it's actually at the back now, so I can now bring back the opacity, so it looks like it's behind the mountains. So very good. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on what was inside, because if you look back here, it's not just one color. Now this is another picture entirely. A lot of times with Photoshop and with designing like this, you need like to do use multiple pictures, multiple images to do a lot of crazy things that some people might never even notice. So let's bring this one inside also, and let's just increase it until it covers all the picture like this. So I'm going to hold down Alt on my keyboard, and I'm just going to hover above this place here, and you can see that my mouse has disappeared and turned into this arrow and box thing. When I click on it like this, you can see it has been placed inside. But also you can also see that it's not very bright, it's like very dim, it's not standing out, and that's when we have to come to our adjustments here. So I'm going to use brightness and saturation. Let's come back to our layers here, and I'm just going to move this. Now you can see this now is placed inside. Now if I go to my properties here, so this place now, and I increase the brightness, I'm increasing the brightness for everything. If I reduce the contrast, I'm reducing the contrast for everything. That's not what I want. I want to only increase the brightness and contrast for this one inside. So if I go to my layers here, your Photoshop might actually look different from my own, but I just made, this is my personal layout, how I like using Photoshop. So I can just carry this my brightness and contrast, and I'm just going to drag it down inside here. So now you can see that this arrow and this arrow are all pointing downwards. That means these two things now are clipped inside this power here. Now Photoshop works from top to bottom. From this is what is going to show first before this and before anything other than that shows. So now the brightness and contrast, now I want it to work on top this my background layer inside here, but still inside this power. So I have to change the layer structure. So now this one now is working on top this one, inside this one. So I can now go to my properties here, and I can just drop the brightness a little bit, and let's just play with this thing a little bit more, so like this. So this is looking amazing. Okay, also, so another thing, next thing I'm going to do now is I'm just going to write my 3 days off. So my text tool here, 3 days off. Now I'm going to just change the font here. I'm going to use Poppins, and that font I really like using. And I don't want to take a lot of things about designing in particular is that you need to understand human beings' focus. You understand? You need to get how to drive people's focus to where you want them to go. So I want them to see this power first, then this 3 days off. But if I do it like this, visually it's not looking good because it's this 3 days off is too big. You cannot have too many things fighting for people's attention at once. So when people look at this poster, the first thing I want them to see is the power. They're like, what power? Then they cannot look above and below to see the other details, like inside these 3 days of waiting, they do like this. So now if I select that, now I can just reduce the size. Let's go to 18. Still too small. Come up to like 30. Okay, I can just put that here. Now this VA now is the spacing between individual characters. So the higher your VA, the farther apart your characters become. The higher your VA, the farther apart your characters become. So I think I use 440 for this. So I can come back here and let's use 440 again. And then I can now put it back to the center of my composition. Now we have this cool looking visual here. The 3 days of power, it blends together so well, and the two of them are not fighting for your attention. The two of them work together really well. So let's add our image. So this is the image of the person I used. This is my mom, by the way. And I'm going to drop that into Photoshop here, and let's first understand something. When you're working with images like this, now I want to remove the background. I want to remove the background fast. You can go through the whole stress of, sometimes we are designers, we want to make things perfect, but it was a fast design. I needed to remove the background really fast. So what I had to do was just to see this, remove background, click on it. Photoshop has made things a whole lot easy for a lot of designers. You don't actually need to start maxing. If your picture is very high quality and it has decent separation between the foreground and background, sometimes it doesn't even need decent separation set. If it's just very high quality, it can do a good job of removing the background for you. Like I removed this background once and I did not stress myself, and the edges are totally crisp, and this is beautiful. So let's just move that into our composition here, and let's zoom out, and we can now reduce the size. Like that. So you can see already this animation, this whatchamacallit, this design is already getting amazing with just simple things that we have done. So what else did I put here? Okay, let's do our typing next. So for our text like this, I did not actually want to do much. I wanted to keep this design fairly simple. So I just had to, let me see the time, 1st to 3rd July 2025 and 12 p.m. prompt. Okay, so for our text now, let's just do that. You can see we can now, let's go back here, our properties, yeah, and I can just drop the size again because it's getting too big again. So first, oh Jesus, oh, so let's do 1st to 4th. Now we need to reduce the VA because we don't actually need it to be that high again. Need to increase the size, and now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to Alt and drag down. When you hold down Alt is like to duplicate, which is like really fast duplicate, because Photoshop doesn't have Ctrl D for duplicate. Photoshop's duplication is Ctrl J. If you understand that. So we'll now do July 2025. Now for this, I have to make a little bit of a difference between everything, so I can now change this one to like bold here. So I want it also to be very aligned, very structured. So I'm going to just place this in the same alignment with this end of this my power here. So we have something that looks like this. Now let's give it a little bit more space here. So we have this. Now I can select these two, hold down Alt. Okay, sorry. So now I can just select this one, hold down Shift and select this one also. So if we go back to my layer, so you can see I selected the two of them, hold down Alt, and I can just drag it this way, holding down Shift also, so that it can drag along the same line. And this way I'm going to stop this one, and now I can just change it 12 p.m. PROMPT. So let's move this back, and I can just try and align it to here also. Now we have this looking okay. I think the top needs to come down a little bit more. So here to here, and just move it down like that. So there's a lot more balance to our image. Now we are going to make that this our red frosted look here. So now this one is easy also. What you just do is just get a rectangle. Now I'm going to increase the roundness of my rectangle up here, and I'm just going to draw it out like this. Now let's change the color to red, and I don't want any fill, so I can shut off the fill here. Now for this one here, I want to make this part now look like this picture is inside, but this picture is blurred and is frosted over. Like that's the look I'm going for in my head. So what I need to do now is I need to duplicate this picture. Let's go back to our layers here. So let's duplicate this picture, Ctrl J, and now I'm going to move this picture upward. Like I told you, Photoshop works with layers. Now I'm just going to hold down my Alt and clip the picture inside the rectangle. You can see that it doesn't look like anything is happening here because the picture is inside the rectangle. So now I'm going to do two things. The first thing, I'm going to left click here. I'm going to go to blending options. I'm going to drop shadow. Now what your drop shadow is going to do is actually going to do stuff like this. Understand? I'm going to change the color to the dark part of this clothes, so it pops out. So the rectangle now it's like invisible, but it looks like it's on top of the clothes. I don't know the effect I'm going to call it, but you can also use these settings here: distance 8, spread 14, and size 16. Understand? Now click on OK. Now for this picture inside here, you can see that the picture is sharp. Let's move down. You can see the wrinkles of the clothes and everything inside. Now on this picture here like this, now I'm going to add a filter. If we're in the age of everybody has used Snapchat, you also all know what a filter is. But in Photoshop, their filters can do a lot more than just it's not if you can do a lot more than just giving here, but the filter is more like actual usable. So I'm going to blur, I'm going to Gaussian blur, and now you can see already as I increase it this way, if I reduce it, the blur, as I increase it this way like this, you can see it's getting more and more blurry. Stand. So this is what I want. It looks like that Apple's frosted glass look. So for my effects here, I'm going to on my stroke, and for the color of the stroke now, Like you can change it to color, that'll be a solid color, and you can change it to gradient. For the size of my stroke now, I'm going to leave it at 3. For the color now, I'm going to change it to gradient, and I'm just going to click here so I can change the gradient to something I want. So I want a part of it to be very, very blue, to take like this light blue that we have on our background here. And for the left part of it, if I double click here, I can change the color. I want the color to be almost like white. Exactly, this light part of the blue here is very, very light blue. It's close to white here. Click on OK. Click on OK. So we now have that. We now have this frosted looking this thing. But if you look back here, you can see that it's frosted, but it's frosted red. And that is what I just did was that I don't need this anymore. I can just close this. It's confusing me. What I just did was that on my layer here, I can just reduce the opacity like this. So as I'm reducing the opacity now, it's becoming this thing. It's becoming. I hope you guys can actually see what I'm doing. I don't need this anymore. I can just close this. It's confusing me. What I just did was that on my layer here, I can just reduce the opacity like this. So as I'm reducing the opacity now, it's becoming this thing. It's becoming. Okay, I think you guys can see and hear me properly. I just checked it. So where was I? I forgot where I was. Okay, so that's basically it. That's how you create this one. For this one here, like this is basically a PNG. I downloaded it from FreePic. Let's see, let's find it. Social media sets. Okay, no, that's not this one. But I covered it now. But basically, this is a PNG. I downloaded it from FreePic. Let's move it to the other side. So I can use. So this is how it looks normally. So all you just need to do is reduce the size. And just bring it down here. Let's take one of this. Now you can see it's behind there. All I just need to do now is drag it to the top. And just type live on YouTube. Let's increase the size a little bit more. So stuff like that. Now, a problem you might run into is maybe like me, this your rectangle down here is too big, and maybe you could try to change the size of the rectangle, or you try to move the rectangle. You can't actually do that very well. All you need to do is you have to use your layers here. Come to your layers here and select the rectangle itself. Then if you hit Ctrl T, it shows you the transform property of any of them, so you can hit and drag down. And just drag it down like this, and let's move it up like that. So that is everything that you need to know about how I made this poster. You can make this poster by yourself. It's very, very easy. If you make the poster by yourself, please tag me on any of my social media. I'll be able to like your post. So that is basically it. So thank everybody for joining me today on this our live broadcast. I really appreciate you who tuned in from the beginning to the end and who will tune in later. I'm sorry that we had a hiccup, and sorry that my system is kind of lagging today because there's no light and I'm using battery power. I'm using a Windows system, battery power, very important. So thank you very much. I really appreciate you guys. Any of you that is going to like this video, like how I made this tutorial, please, you can join my motion design community. They are the ones that requested me to do something like this, and I'm doing this for them. If you want me to do more Photoshop tutorials, please let me know in the comment section, and I'll catch you in the next video. So until then, improve every day, grow constantly, and tremendously. Love you guys. Nothing that is new actually, if you're perfectly honest. There's not going to put this picture of a mountain in here, and I'm going to also put this picture of the cloud. So for older versions of Photoshop, you have to hold down shift before you can drag